Klaus Schwab be like, come on, start rioting and start a civil war so we can declare a state of emergency and roll out the rest of our agenda. You're damn right. Now, once again, if you want to know who is behind the problem, just look at the solution. WEF puppet Keir Starmer just came out saying this in reply to the UK riots. They will start rounding people up accused of wrongthink. That's right, people. The UK has officially fallen. I did not think it would happen there first. I'm going to be honest with you. The UK is now ground zero for what some might call the ultimate equity plan. But let's be real here. It's more like a experiment in controlled chaos. First off, I want to go over a video of a woman saying a container, yes, an actual shipping container filled with guns, was delivered straight to the welcoming arms of illegals. The funny thing is, while your average Brit can't even get their hands on a knife that could butter toast, let alone anything that resembles a weapon, these illegals are being armed to the teeth. I wonder what the end goal could be here. But hey, who needs a sharp object when you've got a square-tipped knife designed by some woke British cutlery company, am I right? No joke, folks, they actually are doing this here. Now let's zoom out and take a look at the bigger picture here. This isn't just about the chaos in the UK, this is a dress rehearsal for the chaos they're planning to unleash across the entire Western world. Europe, the US, will be next on the chopping block. This is a worldwide agenda, and the puppets in charge are being updated on their script, okay? From COVID to climate change, and now they've resorted to Plan B. Let's just start a civil war in every country. And let's not forget over in Ireland, where, according to the doomsday prophet Michael Yon, he said there very well could be a Rwanda-style massacre. I was going over this post and I was like, wow, this dude really is predicting a mass bloodbath over there. The globalists have strategically placed migrant camps around Dublin, like chess pieces, just waiting for the signal to move. It's all very Hunger Games-like, except the players aren't volunteering, they actually were imported. Michael Yon was a former Green Beret who apparently now spends his days connecting the dots. As I do myself, I would consider him a fellow conspiracy theorist, aka one that is using his brain. He's painting a scenario where millions of military-age illegal migrants suddenly rise up with weapons that mysteriously appeared in containers. As the woman in the video said, it's like a new Purge movie or something. The USA isn't safe from this madness either. Actually, I'm surprised the UK got the Civil War treatment before the US. A lot of people are surprised about that. Remember CrowdStrike's global outage? Worldwide, all computers with Windows installed just so happened to get the blue screen of death at the same time? That shut down a lot of things around the world, from grounding flights in airports to self-checkout areas in grocery stores shutting down. I mean, it's crazy. Just imagine that was just a beta test for something they might pull in November 2024. They might pull the plug on the financial system and wipe out pensions and mortgages. Why? Because they already have a digital slavery network they want to install, a new financial structure, complete with digital surveillance and control that would make George Orwell's head spin. The really dark joke here is that while the native populations are being disarmed and surveilled into oblivion, the newcomers are being handed the keys to the kingdom, quite literally in some cases. If the rumors of gun-filled containers are to be believed here, and to top it all off, Elon Musk might have been dropping hints about this for years. Was he in on the joke, or was he just paying attention like the rest of us? I don't know, but it looks like for years, even Elon Musk has been tweeting about an upcoming civil war in Europe. It is imminent. In the end, it's all part of a bigger plan to manufacture more chaos, because a scared, divided, and weaponless population is much easier to control. We are literally living through a futuristic dystopian nightmare right now. Just look at this shit right here in the UK. Just remember, the next time you're handed a square-tipped butter knife, take comfort in knowing that a hate-filled illegal that hates you and your family is somewhere unboxing an AK-47 with their name on it. And you'll be watching another episode of Diversity is Our Strength, the live-action remake. It looks like the UK has decided that freedom of thought is a no-no, so now they're bringing in the Thought Police 2.0. They didn't think it was bad enough during COVID. They actually learned from COVID. Isn't that something else? It's almost like they used it like a beta test. But now they threw in a dash of, what did you just post? The next few months are going to be absolute insanity, okay? It'll be a dystopian fever dream where fact checkers are the new overlords. In the land where tea is sacred and sarcasm is an art form, it seems like they're trading in their free speech in the UK for a cozy jail cell. Imagine this, Christians preaching on the streets only to be taken away by the law for daring to spread any good news. Meanwhile, your grandma is getting cuffed for her offensive Facebook post. Orwellian AF, people. Now check this out. Over in Chester, a 55-year-old woman found herself on the wrong side of the law for daring to speculate on the identity of an attacker. The crime? Posting inaccurate, in quotes, information on social media. The police are here to remind you that even a wrong guess can land you in handcuffs. What is going on in the UK? But don't worry, guys, the UK is also looking out for your mental health too. Yeah, the government is there because they care, by arresting you for hateful tweets. That's right, even retweets could get you a prison sentence. Your digital footprint could now lead to an actual arrest, all because you dared to hit the share button. Look at what the UK government just posted on their Twitter. Think before you post. Wow. That's right, folks. The UK will throw you in prison for spreading misinformation. Let's not forget the UK government are the main super spreaders of what they call misinformation, giving advice to random people on Twitter like, "Hi, Ben." Unreal. Over this blatant lie right here. But no, you retweeting an offensive meme, that's taking it too far, okay? You're going straight to prison. But take a look at who is coming after you if you choose to watch the EyesIsWatching podcast, okay? Right here, Deputy Chief Constable Rachel Swan is not playing any games, okay? Take a look at her. This is the face of tyranny right here. She says, "You better watch what you post online." Now, a funny troll move by the Baphomet free speech brain chip hero, Elon Musk, suspended the UK government's Twitter page after this. I tried to go to their Twitter and then I found out it was suspended. Unreal. This is just so comical here. Check out more insanity right here.
We will throw the full force of the law at people. And whether you're in this country committing crimes on the streets or committing crimes from further afield online, we will come after you.
Talk to me about that, because we have seen some high-profile figures whipping up the hatred. You talked about it in there with the officers, in fact, about this being added to by online commentary. I mean, I'm even thinking of the likes of Elon Musk getting involved.
Wow.
What are you considering when it comes to dealing with people who are whipping up this kind of behaviour from behind a keyboard, maybe in a different country?
Being a keyboard warrior does not make you safe from the law. You can be guilty of offences of incitement, of stirring up racial hatred. There are numerous terrorist offences regarding the sort of publishing of material. All of those offences are in play if people are provoking hatred and violence on the streets, and we will come after those individuals just as we will physically confront on the streets the thugs and the obs who are causing the problems for communities.
Did you hear that? Mark Rowley threatens to extradite and imprison American citizens over online posts. He does not rule out Elon Musk either. Wow, they got some nerve over there in the UK. He said keyboard warriors are not safe from the law. I like the reply here. Someone said, anyone else think social media posts is a weird thing for the UK police to prioritize right now? As seen in this video right here. Yeah, would you look at that? This is totally fine. This is like people celebrating their own cultures or whatever. But if you dare question the official story, you will be treated like Alex Jones, okay? Say you are against illegal immigration, you are going straight to prison. Same thing that happened during the George Floyd riots, actually. People were arrested for not wearing masks in certain grocery stores or whatever. But if you wanted to protest over George Floyd and burn down buildings, you were totally allowed to. This is just insanity. But as we all know, Keir Starmer is a You thought Boris Johnson was bad, and then they had Rishi Sunak. I mean, you'd think it couldn't possibly get worse than them. Then the new PM comes in and says, yeah, we're going to send you to prison for retweeting offensive memes. This level of tyranny and police state is more draconian than anything we've seen during the pandemic. It goes to show how insane the tyranny can get over the threat of a civil war, over manufactured mayhem. Now, once again, refer back to the quote, if the government can gain more control and take more of your rights away during an emergency, why wouldn't they create the emergency to begin with? Q bono, people. And just when you thought we're on our way down from Clown World Climax, we see this now. German police are now getting creative, offering a free Netflix for a year if you hand in your dangerous knives. Absolute insanity. You can tell what the next steps are, right? So clearly there's an agenda playing out in all these Western nations. Clearly a civil war in every country. And the demons in charge of Germany don't want Germans to defend themselves in any way before they initiate the civil war over there too. They're like, okay, Germans, please hand in anything that resembles a knife, okay? Matter of fact, anything that's even pointy. Anything you might be able to use to defend yourself, okay? Nothing suspicious at all. We're not up to no good here. Just please hand over anything that's pointy in your house, okay? Even your keys. Don't worry, it's for the greater good. You'll get a free Netflix subscription for a year. So disarm yourselves and watch nonstop LGBT propaganda on Netflix for a year. No agenda at all. All in good faith, I'm sure. We can trust these same demons that just try to poison you and your family. Actually, for anyone in Germany wanting free Netflix for a year, why don't you just go hand in a butter knife or a fork or something, you know? Here you go. Thanks. Free Netflix for a year. Now back to the UK. Some people came out in Croydon. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Croydon. Some self-proclaimed heroes came out to protest the imaginary far right. Check this video out right here. Only to find out the real enemy was in their own community. So with no far right thugs to fight, what did they do? Well, you guessed it, they decided to trash their own neighborhood. That's right. Take that, you white supremacists. Who needs logic when you're just angry and need a nice pair of Jordans? The UK has officially fallen, folks. It is clear as day. And no one even cares about what set this all off in the first place. It's insane. This is how suspicion arises over the events that started this. Another false flag? Well, it would make sense because now the government in the UK can go full China mode. The UK is diving headfirst into a brave new world where your social media habits could earn you a criminal record. The thought police are watching, okay? And the soulless sellout Keir Starmer has already announced a China-style surveillance grid to keep people safe, of course. It's absolutely despicable. It's like they had a plan A, plan B, plan C to install the digital slavery state. The first method, of course, was the threat of a virus, and since that didn't work out so well, they chose to go the civil war route. Martial law, police state already installed over the threat of a civil war. Now they can bring in martial law and set up the police state they always wanted. Once again, if they can gain more control over an emergency, why not start the emergency themselves? This is the end game they want. And a lot of the demons in charge have publicly stated that China is the new model of the New World Order.
Among the many stories emerging from the shadows of China's social credit system, the case of Liu Hu stands out for its stark portrayal of the system's reach into the lives of individuals, particularly those who challenge the status quo. Liu Hu, a journalist known for his investigative work and criticism of corruption within the government, found himself at the mercy of this system. Liu Hu's troubles began when he was accused of defamation after exposing corruption in the government. Under the social credit system, Liu Hu was categorized as dishonest, leading to significant personal and professional restrictions. He was barred from buying plane tickets and taking high-speed trains.
Wow.
His social media accounts were suspended, and his ability to work as a journalist was severely hindered.
Crazy.
Among the many stories...
I mean, that's exactly what they want in these Western nations. You can tell this is where the UK is headed. You can tell this was in their plan, and this is exactly what they wanted. And they're using this threat of a civil war. They're manufacturing chaos so they can install the system. Matter of fact, Keir Starmer literally said this word for word. Here's an insane story. No, this is not in China, folks. This is the UK. A man was just jailed for 12 weeks for commenting on a Facebook post about anti-immigration immigration protests. He called the cops dispersing the protests filthy bastards. Can you believe it? 12 weeks in prison. This is what happens when you give up your guns, okay? Let that be a warning to anyone out there. This is what the government resorts to when they know you are disarmed. It seems like the powers that be are setting the stage for the next global catastrophe here, okay? With a world war on the horizon and the US teetering on the edge of civil meltdown too. A civil war plus world wars. Or really the next world war might be civil wars in every country. Apparently the American people are getting a bit fed up with being the government's personal ATM and cannon fodder. I hope you guys are ready for a war in Iran. As I predicted last podcast, the mass immigration is done on purpose to pull off a convincing false flag, okay? Which we can all tell is coming very soon. It doesn't take a Nostradamus to figure this one out. It looks like my crystal ball was spot on last podcast. I joked about how Iran is going to be linked to an assassination attempt on Trump, leading to a new war. Well, now we've got a guy with ties to Iran plotting to take out Trump. Okay, look at this insanity. My next career should be in fortune telling, okay? Not really though, because this is obvious stuff to anyone that's paying attention. Like, who could have seen this one coming? Oh wait, I did. So if Trump miraculously survives and then we discover new evidence linking Iran to the plot, you heard it here first. And you know the sheeple will eat it right up, okay? Meanwhile, over in the Middle East, the skies above Iraq and Western Iran are eerily empty, as if someone hit the clear airspace button on a real-life war simulation. Tehran's gearing up to give Israel some payback, let's put it like that, and the IDF is more than happy to point the finger at Iran for every attack under the sun. Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis. It's like a rogues gallery of conveniently placed enemies. Do you not see how this is all scripted here? All leading back to the big bad Iran. It's almost like they've been waiting for this moment for years. Oh wait, they have. Let's talk about Israel's bold strategy here. Apparently, they're struggling to defeat Hamas in Gaza, so what else do they want? Well, of course, they want to start another war with Iran and Turkey. How does that saying go again? Biting off more than you can chew. But Israel is insisting they've got this one under control, okay? But don't worry, Israel's got a plan. It just involves dragging half the world into the Albert Pike predicted upcoming bloodiest battle in history. False flag incoming, maybe? Many experts are saying this. A major false flag is incoming to force Western nations into rallying behind Israel's cause. Don't get it twisted. Israel is not winning by themselves against Iran and Turkey and the rest of the Middle East. They need orchestrated chaos to unite everyone once again, to rally behind them. A divided Israel that was on a verge of civil war. On the other side of the world, to once again unite people against a common enemy. Keep your eyes wide open, people, because it looks like the script for World War III is really playing out here. Take a look at this picture right here. It lays out a pretty dark but disturbingly familiar pattern. Every time the US gets itchy for a war, or even Israel, there seems to be a conveniently timed disaster that gives them just the excuse they need to jump in. It all starts with the Lusitania sinking. And then, well, boom, suddenly we're in World War I. Fast forward to Pearl Harbor and, well, wouldn't you know it? The US is dragged into World War II. The Gulf of Tonkin, that was the US's golden ticket to dive headfirst into the bloody, pointless Vietnam quagmire. And of course, who could forget the good old 9/11? The well-known false flag that opened the door to the wars in both Afghanistan and Iraq, leading to millions of innocent casualties. 9/11 set the stage for endless conflicts in the Middle East. But what more needs to be said when looking at this picture? You can already see the trend here, okay? Seems quite obvious. It looks like we are due for another one of those, oops, looks like we're going to war again type of big events. And of course, it's going to be so devastating that they will hit you with the, you're either with us or the terrorists, okay? If you thought 9/11 was bad, Remember what Trump tweeted when Netanyahu was giving his speech in Congress? If Iran assassinates me, you better wipe them off the face of the earth. Think about that for a second. Israel wanted war with Iran for decades, since at least the 1970s, and so many people love Trump. It's actually to the point, just think about how his supporters would feel if he was assassinated by Iran, in quotes. How willing would they be to go to war with Iran? And if that was the case, why wouldn't Israel assassinate Trump themselves? Or stage a real assassination this time and have the world thinking he's dead and lead him out the back door, kind of to his private island, you know what I mean? Like Jeffrey Epstein style. Why wouldn't they? If they wanted a war with Iran, think about how furious Americans would be if they felt Trump was killed by Iran. Their messiah, the savior, Mr. Drain the Swamp, the only hope they had has now been assassinated by Iran. And of course, Donald Trump just came out saying this.
That Kamala is in favor of not giving Israel weapons? Yeah. That's what I hear.
Oh.
Look, she's been very, very bad to Israel, and she's been very bad to Jewish people. And I say it, if anybody I know is Jewish and they would vote for Kamala over me, they should have their head examined. If you think about it, I gave them Golan Heights. I gave them the capital of Israel, Jerusalem. I even built the embassy. I gave them no Iran deal. The problem is they didn't do anything with it. Iran was broke. We could have made a deal so easily. I would have had a deal done within 1 week after the election with Iran. Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. We would have gotten along with Iran. I was looking forward to it. I was fine with Iran. You know, we hit them a couple of times pretty hard, but we would have been fine with Iran. But I terminated that deal. I got them the Abraham Accords. Everyone said that's impossible. I got them the Abraham Accords. She's been very, very bad to Israel, and she's been very bad and disrespectful to Jewish people. And any Jewish person that votes for Kamala and her friend, her new friend, who I don't know if she knew him before, but I don't think he's too good. But anybody that votes for them, if you're Jewish or if you love Israel, you have to have your head examined.
Wow. Funny reply here. Someone said this is like finding out Superman is gay. That is really hilarious. So, as you can see, he is in on the plan. World War III is incoming. He is not America first in any way. Now let's move on here because this is something interesting taking place here. Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro is under intense pressure as protests sweep the nation. And he's pointing to what he sees as outside interference in the country's affairs. Maduro has accused international forces of orchestrating efforts to destabilize his government, claiming that powerful foreign interests are behind the opposition movement against him, in particular Zionists. The recent election, which saw Maduro declared the winner amid widespread allegations of voter suppression and violence, has been met with skepticism both at home and abroad. Opposition candidate Edmundo Gonzalez was expected to win, but the results have been heavily disputed, with many questioning the transparency of the process. Maduro's government has not provided independent verification of the vote counts, leading to further doubts. Now, many wondered what is going on in Venezuela. Maduro has suggested that certain global entities are using their influence to support his opponents and sway public opinion against him. He has pointed to what he describes as a coordinated effort by Jews to interfere in Venezuela's sovereignty, accusing them of funding and backing the opposition's push to challenge his leadership. At the same time, the opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado, I don't know if I'm saying that person's name right, who's faced threats from Maduro's regime, has emerged as a leading figure in the protests. Despite the ongoing economic crisis in Venezuela, which has driven millions to flee the country, Maduro remains steadfast in his belief that external forces are largely to blame for the turmoil. Maduro's claims reflect his broader concerns about what he perceives as a campaign by international interests to undermine his government, as he continues to rule a country grappling with deep economic and social challenges. Now, that being said, what does Maduro know that we don't? Nicolas Maduro claims that Argentina President Javier Milei and Elon Musk are members of a satanic cult. Let's see what he says here. I was told exactly what to do with the devil. He says, with the diabolical symbols used by Elon Musk. Check out his profile and the diabolical symbols on his chest. They are satanic cults of US power that have articulated sects, like the one of Javier Milei, or in Venezuela, satanic cults like fascism, this one who attacked our country. It's a spiritual fight between good and evil, he says, between hate, lies, hoax, fascism. Because you guys know all the occultism behind Hitler, he says. So that being said, there's some interesting things to be said here and some connections to be made that I think are quite eerie. Things get extremely weird here considering the Venezuelan president himself has been accused of satanic rituals. Before you start thinking Maduro here is a good guy here because he called out the alleged global cabal, the satanic occult. He himself is a figure steeped in the occult, following in the footsteps of his predecessor, Hugo Chavez. Many say Maduro is knee-deep in satanic rituals and Santeria practices, allegedly using them to tighten his control over the country. Check this title out right here, Venezuela Crisis, how Maduro spent thousands of state funds on Cuban rituals. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro allegedly spent thousands of state funds on religious rituals in Cuba, according to a former intelligence official, spending taxpayers' money on satanic occult practices and rituals of human sacrifice to help him stay in power and keep control of his nation. And no, I'm not talking about Justin Trudeau and Keir Starmer, okay? I'm talking about a slightly less satanic leader here named Maduro. It's mainstream that Cuban Santeria priests are guiding Maduro through rituals designed to invoke supernatural powers, with some claiming that government buildings house altars where these dark ceremonies take place, like Bohemian Grove-style rituals, supposedly to intimidate political enemies and fend off any challenges to his rule. These demons in charge are literally using the power of Satan to help them stay in power here. And get this, Elon Musk and Maduro have been going back and forth for a while now, feuding for the world to see. Maybe just putting on this typical satanic dualistic theater here. Good guy, bad guy, when in reality, every one of these bastards are just some Luciferians hell-bent on world domination. Nicolas Maduro and Elon Musk were feuding over Venezuela's natural resources, specifically its lithium reserves. The tension between the two figures came to light in 2020 when Elon Musk made a cryptic tweet, "We will coup whoever we want. Deal with it." This comment was widely interpreted as reference to US involvement in Venezuela, given the country's immense natural resources that are critical to electric vehicle production, a market that, of course, Elon Musk's Tesla company dominates in. Lithium, which many refer to as white gold by these EV makers, and is a key component in the batteries in them. And Venezuela, despite its political and economic turmoil, sits on some of the largest lithium reserves in the world. Maduro here, who has long accused the US and other foreign powers of trying to destabilize his regime to gain control of Venezuela's resources, and he even used Elon Musk's tweet as evidence that other nations are looking to take over Venezuela. He claimed that Musk and other powerful interests were actively working to overthrow him to secure access to these valuable minerals. So many are claiming that Elon is one of the stakeholder capitalists that Klaus Schwab often mentions here, and that he's working with the deep state to destabilize certain nations to gain control of their natural resources. Now, I would think there's some truth to this if Maduro seemed like a good guy here, but the fact he's into some Bohemian Grove type shit makes me think otherwise, okay? Kind of interesting though. Maduro called out the international Jews for trying to destabilize his country, and by name mentions Elon Musk. Some weird stuff here. The feud between Musk and Maduro isn't just about tweets and accusations. It taps into a larger narrative of foreign exploitation and control that has long haunted Latin American politics. Maduro has used this narrative to bolster his claims of being a leader resisting imperialist aggression, while Musk's offhand remark only fueled suspicions that tech billionaires are willing to back or at least support regime changes to serve their corporate interests. But the truth is, this feud is deeper than some realize, because both men are engaging in occult practices to sway the outcome in their favor, and that endgame could very well serve both of their interests. While Elon Musk is unleashing the satanic agenda through so-called groundbreaking inventions from brain chips to AI, using his technological control and transhumanism for his own occultish alchemy, Maduro is also doing the same, but through ancient rituals, guided by Cuban Santeria priests, to protect his regime from these alleged foreign machinations. It's a wild, convoluted narrative that mixes geopolitics and supernatural demonology. The more you look into it, the more you realize that the world's elites are playing a wicked game far beyond the comprehension of most ordinary people. The evil is deeper than you can imagine. And now Venezuela's Maduro says he will ban X in country for 10 days, claims X promoted civil war between Venezuelans. Listen to this.
Que se llamaba Twitter. X. Elon
He's banning it.
Es el dueño de X. Y ha violado
Isn't that interesting?
todas las normas.
The UK and other countries as well are trying to ban X too. And supposedly this Venezuelan president is the good guy, but also wants to ban X. Banning any kind of social media platform makes you evil, period, okay? Any kind of censorship is evil. Any kind of deplatforming is pure evil. Silencing people and censoring viewpoints is evil because it's a war on the minds of the people. You are trying to impose your perception of reality onto people, and that is beyond evil. That's probably the most evil thing you can ever do. Now, speaking of satanic practices and occult rituals, what is going on in the world of US politics? Kamala's VP pick here, if she wins, Tim Walz. Now, this man is about as creepy as JD Vance, Trump's VP pick. Now, I thought this was a joke here. Actually, I was hoping it was, like a satire article or something, but nope. Looks like there's some legitimacy behind it. But first, for those that don't know, Kamala Harris has indeed chosen Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate for the 2024 presidential election. The announcement was made on August 6, 2024. Harris was reportedly drawn to Walz due to his strong record as governor, particularly his work on reproductive health, paid leave, and gun safety, which align closely with her platform. Commie scumbags, I'm telling you. Additionally, his background as a teacher, veteran, and someone who successfully flipped a Republican-leaning district made him a compelling choice for the role, she says. Walz's selection is also strategic here, as it is expected to help Harris appeal to voters in key Midwestern states that are crucial for the Democrats' electoral strategy, and they hope to win against Donald Trump and JD Vance. Now let's take a look at what Minnesota looked like with Tim Walz as governor after the George Floyd riots. No, this isn't a battlefield in Iraq, folks. This is the perfect liberal utopia for the DICs, okay? This is what they want for us all, as you can see right here. Now, what gets weird here is a recently surfaced phone call from June 2020. Then President Donald Trump praised Minnesota Governor Tim Walz for his handling of the protests and unrest that followed the death of George Floyd. During the call with various governors, Trump told Walz that he was very happy with how he handled the riots. He described Walz's actions as incredible and likening the National Guard's response to bowling pins, knocking out rioters. Trump also referred to Walz as an excellent guy for how he deployed the National Guard to restore order. This call has now come under renewed scrutiny as Walz was recently chosen as Kamala Harris's running mate for the 2024 presidential election. Despite this earlier praise, Trump and other Republicans are now criticizing Walz's response to the protests, and they're focusing on his timing of the decision to deploy the National Guard. They're arguing that the delay in his actions contributed to the violence and destruction in Minneapolis, a point that has become a key line of attack against him in the current election cycle. More politics for the masses. Any one of these scumbags can backtrack on anything they've previously said. There's no integrity between any of these politicians whatsoever. Typical politicians, okay? Truth will never matter here. It's all about brainwashing the masses with nonstop lies, smearing opponents with as many lies as possible. Standard stuff here. So Trump praised Walz's actions as incredible. Want to know what's incredible? Well, check this out right here. Now, I wanted to believe this was fake, but it looks like there's some real reports of this. This is insane, people. Like I said, speak about satanic practices. I mean, this man... You heard that right. Drawing connections to an unusual trend that reportedly started in New Zealand, where people drink supposed health benefits. The article states that after ingesting the substance, where doctors performed procedures to cleanse his stomach, he needed his stomach. Unbelievable. The title of the newspaper is just wild. Oh my God. If this is real, it got me dying. Neighborhood dare goes wrong. Emphasis on nay. Absolute comedy here. Good God. This is some satanic humiliation ritual type stuff here, okay? Aleister Crowley literally wrote shit like this in his books, you know? In the article here, it also mentions that in some historical practices and cultural references, they suggest that some ancient Chinese rituals may have involved the consumption of horse semen for its perceived medicinal properties. Despite these claims, there is no scientific evidence to support the idea that horse semen has any health benefits whatsoever. That's really funny to end with that. Imagine downing a gallon of the stuff like you're on Fear Factor only to be told, well, actually, you know, there's no proof it really does anything, but, you know, congrats on being able to. This Justin Trudeau is looking to break Tim Walz's record. I'm pretty sure there's an Olympic medal for that one. The demons in charge are doing some wild stuff, folks, like they're training for the freak Olympics or something. If this stuff is true, he might get canceled for it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Imagine Kamala having to pick someone else now. But this actually makes me think of how the show Fear Factor, I know a lot of you remember this show right here, where they made contestants drink and eat some nasty things. You know, the world of outrageous reality TV back then was nuts. No pun intended. I mean, you know, they did make contestants eat actual pig testicles in one of the shows. The bar was set pretty high when Fear Factor got canceled after they made contestants drink horse semen. You heard that right, people. That's why Fear Factor was canceled. Now, fast forward to the present day, and it seems like Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is facing his own version of Fear Factor. If these accusations are true here, you could say Walz might have taken the Fear Factor challenge a bit too seriously. Worst part about it is he wasn't even fighting for a winning prize of any money at all. He's just doing it, in quotes, for health benefits. But a perfect metaphor if he does get canceled, just like Fear Factor, for drinking horse semen. Absolute insanity. And just look at the paid off NPCs here. Good God, Ben Stiller, you pathetic loser.
I just want to let you know I'm going to match your $150,000 donation. Everybody's got to get out and vote and donate. And she's also a historic candidate. You know, it's going to be the first woman president. And that's incredibly exciting. And, you know, she's Indian, she's Black, she's everything. You can be more than one thing. It's incredible. You know, I'm Jewish and Irish. I wish I was Black. Every white Jewish guy wishes he was Black. You know,
What?
it's just get out there and vote and donate and like take advantage. This is such an important time right now. And this wave of energy that's happening, we got to keep going with it. So please do everything you can.
Okay, we need some confirmation for any white Jews out there. Do you guys wish you were Black like Ben Stiller? What a pathetic little bitch Ben Stiller is. Honestly, I can't even watch any of his movies now. And he was hilarious. The guy was a hilarious actor. But saying something like this, what the hell was that? $150,000. Donating it to Kamala Harris campaign? And he ends it with, I wish I was Black? Good Lord, Ben Stiller. But this is getting long here, and I want to end it right there. Folks, if you like what I do here, links are in the description. 4 ways to support the podcast. Consider setting a one-time donation or being a monthly subscriber on Patreon or Subscribestar. Crypto donations are also in the descriptions. Eyes Wide Open Coffee, organic coffee from Gustavus, Alaska. Please consider hitting the links and purchasing the coffee if you want to support this podcast. It is greatly appreciated. I'm feeling a little under the weather here, so it was kind of hard to get through this, but I did it anyway. I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. So that being said, folks, until next week, until next time, I hope everyone is doing well out there. This is Steve Eyes. You're on the Eyes is Watching channel, signing off.